Mr. Kiley, you're recognized for 5 minutes to explain your amendment.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. Across this country, and perhaps nowhere more so than in my state of California, there is an extraordinary movement of parents who are asserting their right to control the education of their children, who are reforming corrupt and failing school systems, and who are putting student learning back at the center of American education. This bill is about putting power back in the hands of parents. And there is no more powerful instrument for parents to have a say in their child's education than determining where it is that they go to school. School choice. It's proven to be the single most powerful instrument for advancing educational excellence. When you look at the results in states that embrace school choice, such as Florida, which ranks at the top when it comes to student achievement, versus schools that do whatever they can to constrain school choice, like my own state of California, which even prior to COVID-19 was second to last in the country when it came to education outcomes for children in low-income communities. And then, of course, in one of the most harmful policy decisions in our country's history, California had the single longest school shutdown of any state in the country, which has exacerbated these achievement gaps in ways that we are only now really beginning to understand.
If the information shows that there's one good school in the district, everybody's going to choose that school. There's not enough room in the school, and so you don't get your choice. And then what happens to those that are stuck at the bad school? In fact, probably in most cases like this, 90% of those are going to be stuck at the bad school.
Thank you. I think it's important to understand what the ranking member has just said. He says, well, what if there's only one good school in the district, then everyone's going to want to go there. So his solution is that we should keep everyone else trapped in their failing schools. And that, unfortunately, is the mentality that prevails in far too much of public education in this country, is you get one choice for where to go to school, and if that school isn't teaching your child to read, isn't teaching them to add and subtract, tough luck. You shouldn't have any other option. What we're trying to say is that you give students the ability to transfer to different schools, whether it's within the district, whether it's outside the district, whether it's a charter school, that if schools face the risk of losing students and the funding that comes with them, then that has a powerful effect of inducing reform and improving their educational offering.
The point is that the solution to that ought to be not let a privileged few escape, but to improve all of the schools in the area so people are not stuck in bad schools. The solution could be let the privileged few who are making the most noise get away. Everybody else, probably upwards of 90%, are going to be stuck behind.
This idea of a privileged few being able to leave, that's what happens right now. You look at people like the president, the vice president, the governor of my state, California, generally opposed to school choice, opposed to charter schools. They send their own kids to private schools. So they embrace school choice for their own families. Wherever you live in this country, if you have means, then you do have school choice available to you. You can go to a private school, you can move to a district that has high-quality public schools. What we're trying to do is expand that choice that everyone seems to embrace for themselves to the entire population, so it's not just a privileged few like the president, the vice president, the governor of California, who have that ability to exercise school choice.
I've been hearing this same excuse for 40 years. Let's not let people leave public schools because it'll hurt public schools. Meanwhile, what is the result of that? The great state of California, that has less choice than any other state in the country, 2017 found that 75% of black boys could not pass standard reading and writing tests. You know, what's interesting is that the other side of the aisle could care less. They care more about the institution. But those black young men who cannot read, cannot write, cannot think, cannot dream, but they will stay in that failing school because there are unions and people who thrive on misery. This is such an interesting conversation because everyone in this room will make sure their kid goes to the best school possible. They'll change their dress. They'll save their money. They'll do whatever they have to do. They'll borrow to make sure their child has an opportunity. Yet those who are at risk, decade after decade after decade, are left behind with no sense of empathy or desire and we sit here with the arrogance to see these people failing and not want to do anything about it.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I want to speak in opposition to the amendment. I'm concerned about the notion that, as Representative Hayes said, that somehow Democrats don't seem to care about education, and that's just wrong. I think about the district. My kids went to public school in a district, which Representative Chavez DeBremer knows, the Beaverton School District. There's lots of choice within the Beaverton School District. There's an arts magnet, a medical magnet, and an international school, and that's great.
You can read the text of the amendment. It simply states that every parent should have the right to know what options are available to them as to where they send their child to school. It's not seeking to expand those options in any way. It's like the school district you mentioned. You said there are various options, ensuring that every parent is made aware of that, not just the involved parents, but every parent can see specifically what their choices are. Do you object to that notion?
I certainly don't object to that notion. And I hope every district does it, just like the district I live in. And I still urge opposition to the amendment.